Cantonist decree in the 1800s was perhaps one of the worst tsaras Klal Yisrael had ever endured. Young children, as young as 10 years old, were taken by the Tsar's regime and forced into the army for 25 years. Those who were able to return intact, without injury, and at least with their Yiddishkeit intact, those are the heroes of society, of Klal Yisrael. Those heroes, when they would come back, they'd be old bachelors, and they would be coarse individuals, ignorant, amaratzim. One time, an old Cantonist was walking down the street. Behind him were walking two Yidden. When they noticed the rare sight of a Yiddish Cantonist, they said to each other, "Oy, what a Rachmanis, look what kind of life he had, how much he suffered." The Cantonist, they had thought he didn't understand because they spoke in Yiddish, but he understood well. And the Cantonist turns around and he stares at them and he says, "You pity me? Had I not been a Cantonist, I would have given endless nachas to the Eibishter. I would have been a Talmud Chacham, I would have been Mekayim mitzvahs for those 35 years that I was under the Tsar's regime. I would have had children Talmidei Chachamim, and I would have had legions of Einaklach, Cheder Yingalach. Look how much nachas I would have given the Eibishter." And the Eibishter was mevater. He was willing to forego all of that, and instead he made me a Cantonist. Isn't that proof that there's something great about myself being a Cantonist? And you pity me? Very often we find ourselves, people could think and they ponder, I'd be so much better had I had a different life situation. Had I not been exposed to what I'd been exposed in my youth or later. If I wouldn't have been in the streets, a job that requires me to be in different places where I don't want to be. Had I not been forced into such situations, I'd be much better. But we have to understand, the Eibishter needs people in the trenches. It says in the Pasuk, Ani Hashem b'soichtum oisam. It's one thing, Avada, the Eibishter needs people, Kedusha, only, total Havdalah. And he has that, and we need that. But the Eibishter has to have the Kvod Shamayim come out of the deepest recesses of Tumah and Ashchasa. The only way that could happen is by those in the trenches, and those people who are there and they face Nisyonis head on. And then the Tumah itself is a vehicle to bring out the Heilige Kvod Shamayim that's necessary. And that comes from the constant battle, the insurmountable challenges seemingly. And I fail so much, and yet the fact that I keep bouncing back and keep trying, that itself is the Kvod Shamayim that destroys monsters and monsters of Tumah. Each time I take a step to the right or to the left, even if I take a step right back and I miss out and I lose, it's all, every moment, another Gilui of Kvod Shamayim. The Rabbeinu B'chaya writes, before the neshama comes into this world, the Eibishter notifies the neshama of everything that's going to happen to him in this world, the moment he's going to die, how he's going to die, how long he's going to live, what type of life he's going to have. Will he be wealthy? Will he be poor? Will he have to take charity? And he's shown every single episode, every challenge and every occurrence of his lifetime. And the neshama, after hearing all that, answers with a resounding Amen, Kein Yehi Ratzon. That's the destiny that I want. I see that it's the best thing for me. And then the neshama goes into the guf and it's all forgotten while we're in this world. We have to understand that the Eibishter has placed us b'dafka, each person where he needs to be, each foot soldier where he has to be, which trenches he has to be masakin. Everyone has their separate task. Hashem was mevater on giving me just the regular nisyonis. Instead, he gave me difficult ones. He gave me terrible inclinations sometimes, which makes me wish that he didn't have them. But he gave it to me, and I want it. It fulfills my purpose, just as I enthusiastically realized the moment before I was created. Amen, Kein Yehi Ratzon. It's worth more than I can imagine.